Welcome to TikiTalk. We are back, much like the Premier League this weekend. First off, we want to say thanks for actually tuning in. And there were people listening, there were people watching on TikTok as well as YouTube, listening on Spotify. So you need to go there now because we're now live on there. It was really humbling and it was nice to see so many people actually enjoying it and having constructive criticism as well as a lot of positive comments. We welcome it all because we want to evolve here, don't we? So yeah, it was lovely.
Yeah, really appreciate the comments. Honestly, can't complain.
Yeah. I mean, it's a bit weird for me and you. Obviously, Toby's been doing the TikTok thing a little while and we're not used to getting feedback from people in the way that he is. So it was a bit different for us. But yeah, like I say, just really grateful for everyone's positive feedback. And, you know, if you think anything needs to be improved, then we're all ears and we'd love to hear it. So yeah, just
absolutely echo guys' thoughts there, 100%.
Yeah, so that was very nice. But we are back, like I said, much like the Premier League.
Back again.
And I want to start off by saying life is back because without football, when you are on your summer, you're enjoying your summer holidays, whatever, but realistically, it's not quite the same without football on the weekend, without consuming all your thoughts and your emotions, whether that's determining them negatively or positively. And I don't understand these half-alive bastards that don't follow football. I really don't understand what their lives are revolved around.
Feel sorry for them. But at the same time, envy them in a weird way because their lives aren't quite so dependent on something that you basically completely out of your control.
Yeah, totally agree. I mean, the emotional damage that comes from the weekend that can happen, it can completely ruin your weekend. I mean, you could literally, you're either having the best Sunday or best Saturday or you're just miserable. And that's it. I mean, back in the day, you just wouldn't do homework really afterwards. You know?
Yeah. I wonder what dictates their actual moods to the same extent that football does, because like you said there, I mean, you guys actually had a nice start. There was no weekend ruiner on the Friday night under the big lights of Selhurst that you were so worried about.
We were worried last week, weren't we?
We were a little bit worried, but I love it. Love that performance. I'm so happy. I mean, I think the first 20 minutes, we can all agree, was a fantastic performance. It was what I sort of mentioned in pre-season, what we can see, that super high press. It felt fluid. There was a lot of movement between Marcelo, Jesus, and Chenko and Xhaka. I think we looked absolutely fantastic. But, you know, question marks, second half, once that intensity drops, which they actually mentioned in the doc, once the intensity drops, we do look a little bit, that's where teams can come out a little bit.
I didn't think you actually saw that kind of performance, even last season from Arsenal.
Yeah.
As much as it has been improvement, I think you did see them, they'd start really fast, and then when the confidence dips a bit, for example, when Ramsdale had a bit of a dodgy kick, suddenly the pressure builds from the other team and their heads go down a little bit. But they did very well, because a result away from home, first day of the season, you can't have any complaints realistically.
Yeah, and I mean, we were great first 20, but the best teams grind out results, don't they?
True.
That is
true.
true.
You know, and yes, Palace had two pretty big chances, but that's when you need your goalkeeper to step up.
Yeah.
And Ramsdale can be a little bit suspect at times, but when we needed him, he was there and he saved us. And then obviously just take the pressure off the goal at the end. It was overall a very satisfying start to the season.
Well, also, we're a team, you know, we're not like a City who's going to be able to control a game for 90 minutes.
Yeah.
So
Is.
Yeah, that's also very true. But so, you know, we're going to have moments where we're not going to have the ball and we're going to have to sit back. But I like the shape. I like the character. As I said last week, it's a team for the first time in years where I like every single player on the pitch. And the way we're fighting everything.
Other than Xhaka.
No. Still, I mean, he got his what was it, weekly yellow card?
Yeah,
anyone put any
I
money on
can't
that?
believe I didn't back it. I cannot believe I didn't back it.
Why did we not back it?
But you know,
I said to my dad at the time, I'd back Partey to get a yellow. I was like, the crowd are going to be on him. It's going to be a bit intense. And I looked at him. I was like, why have I not backed Xhaka? Xhaka for yellow every week.
It's got to be done. Although I had a really good betting week actually. I made about 150 quid on bets. Nunes to score first and everything. Yeah, it was great.
Bet responsibly.
Yeah, exactly, guys. You know, we're not encouraging gambling over here.
But you know the Xhaka red card. I remember reading. I might be wrong here. In comes the fact checkers, but he's never actually been sent off the double yellow. It's only been straight reds.
What, for like the City one? I'm not actually entirely sure, to be honest.
Or is it?
That's a good question.
Because I've read that, or maybe it might be one, but it's very much straight reds only.
Yeah, well, you think of him putting in basically jumping 2-footed challenges, don't
or
you?
a little hand around the neck.
Yeah, against Westwood. Yeah, I remember that. But yeah, no, I think overall, we can be pretty positive about the way we started.
Well, you're talking about grinding out results, and no one comes more to the forefront in that than Saliba. I mean, as far as the Premier League debut goes, that's
monster.
You can't ask for much more. And I want to correct myself because last week I said I felt he will be the first centre-back on the team sheet after a couple of months at Arsenal, and I think he already is. I think he looked vastly superior. I know Ben White was playing at right-back, but from what I'd seen in the previous seasons in terms of just he's got like a Van Dijk aura about him.
He
There
has.
is something
that
about
the physicalness, yeah, for sure.
It's the presence, isn't it?
Yeah.
He just looks like an absolute, what you just said, absolute monster.
Yeah.
He's a monster.
The only thing is with Arsenal, maybe it's my Arsenal pessimism coming in, but Arsenal defenders are notoriously really good when they first start. Gabriel, player of the month last season, first 2 months. Chambers, man of the match first game. Holding, man of the match first game. Everyone was saying Holding's better than Cannavaro. But at the end of the day,
is that not you guys getting a bit carried away as per
yeah.
though?
But we've always had a good centre back for the first few months of the season, and everyone gets so excited. Even for Marlin, I think he scored his goals.
Yeah.
It's just a consistent theme. Now, does Saliba look the best out of the lot? Probably, in terms of what I've seen, and he got Young Player of the Year last year. But there's always a slight pessimism. Maybe that's just me, that I worry that their form might dip. But hopefully he's not.
Yeah, I was about to say he is only 21, which is nuts,
And
given how
season
much presence he has on the pitch. He's only 21, and like you say, last season had an unbelievable campaign in France, and I think I'm right in saying he broke the record for the most passes by an outfield player in Ligue 1 ever. Any player,
Really?
not defender,
nuts.
not with any player, which is absolutely mental.
Yeah, mad. You've had Thiago Motta and Verratti there over the years as well.
Yeah.
You've had some serious
Verratti only plays 20 games.
players.
He only plays 20 games a season.
But yeah, so I mean, he's clearly got some pedigree, and he brought it on Friday. I thought he was absolutely fantastic and deserving of man of the match.
I thought he was awesome. And the other player that was absolutely awesome was Jesus. And that first 20 minutes, I mean, that dribble he did where he couldn't get a shot off in the end, it fell to Martinelli, but the dribble itself, it was like...
Yeah, I think I said last week. I said he's quite an awkward dribbler. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to retract that comment. I mean, he looked absolutely, like you say, he looked mustard on Friday. I thought.
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, that's exactly the sort of player we've been crying out for. Also, I just love. I think you call it like a tactical sponge. Is that, someone who really understands the message Arteta's trying to deliver, and the way he just dropped in, picked the ball up from deep, playing out, interlinking with Martelli, swapping in and out. I loved it. It's such an exciting signing, and also just from watching Lacazette just last year,
the contrast is quite something.
Oh, it's such a difference. And if you look at last year, how close we got from top four with basically not having a striker. You do feel like with a Jesus in now the team, and now with what looks like an absolute stalwart at the back, we're a threat. Is it too soon to say we're a threat? I feel like we are a bit of a threat.
I think you're definitely a threat because your attack, I believe, outweighs the defence. I do think there'll be a lot of hand-holding from Saliba. I think even as good as that performance was on Friday, it was in particular that 20 minutes where you were just harassing them and they couldn't really get out of their box. And it was City-esque in that way because there was a real reluctance to even try and break out the press from Palace because they were completely unable to, and they had to sit back and they had to absorb that pressure. And even though in open play you still look dangerous, the goal ended up coming from a set piece. Obviously that was something worked on to the sort of outwards of the box, and Zinchenko heads it back across. That's clearly something on the training ground, and I thought he was very impressive as well on the ball. Just a different option to Tierney altogether in terms of how technical a player he is. I felt he really added to Arsenal in a way as well.
No, totally agree. And I think the key was we played great in the first 20 minutes, but you have to score when you're on top. Because like you say, when our intensity drops, if at that point it's still 0-0, then we're going to struggle to score for the rest of the game, I feel. And then the other team dominate, and then they might score when they're on top. So I think getting the first goal when we were dominating the game was absolutely crucial. And then we had to ride the wave a bit, but we came out with the 3 points, so very happy.
Yeah, I mean, it was a very impressive performance, but I did think there was also another incredibly impressive performance within Palace's side, and that was Anderson.
Yeah.
The amount of crossfield directs this guy was just pinging about at will, all successful every time. It was just there's no way that's a coincidence at that point. I think I read last season he had the highest successful passing percentage of any centre back in Europe.
Really?
Yeah. So it was no surprise there. But I thought, is someone going to take a punt on someone like that? Because it was a really impressive performance despite the result of that Palace had.
Also, his physicality was just immense. He was just getting involved in every challenge. It was so physical, which is, you need that as a centre-back. And I think it shows when he went to Fulham. I mean, they gave him the captaincy after 3 months, wasn't it?
Yeah, and he's one of the best players, probably, you'd say. I know they conceded a lot of goals, but he was actually one of their best players.
It was a great buy by Palace, for sure.
Yeah, they got a good thing going on there at Palace, haven't they?
Yeah, there's more to come. And I always think when you're watching IU, you just think, you know Elise.
Yeah.
He works a bit
How-
IU, but...
How does he get minutes?
Yeah,
honestly?
honestly, how is he still playing the Prem? He's one of them, just stays there for
it's
years.
His dad.
Yeah.
It's a bit of nepotism going on there. Although, I'll give him... One thing I will give him, West Ham home in the last minute. That's one of the best goals I've ever seen. Last minute winner.
It was like in a Zidane and then dinking the goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Like, it was
I
incredible.
don't know where that came from. I don't think I've ever seen it again.
I've been practicing that skill move all summer. I'm trying to do it, yeah.
You should start,
Get the call
start
up.
for Palace, yeah. I was gonna say. But speaking of grinding out results, another team, clean sheet, narrow victory, Chelsea.
Jorginho pen. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
Standard.
It's becoming, it's a thing.
It is a
Well,
thing.
we lack goals, and I touched on it last week. That's the problem with us is our attack. I thought Havertz and Mount were anonymous. They were completely anonymous within the game. But I was incredibly impressed with our signings. Sterling it was so refreshing to see someone direct. Timo, he's gone today, but I've watched him dribble the ball out of play and not get on the end of the chances and not maybe sniff out those danger areas. And even though Sterling, he scored and it was ruled out offside, I can't remember many of our attackers even picking up on things like that, where a spilled shot, they're there in that right position, taking on players, going short for a corner and then running directly at them. A lot of our players take the safe option, they play the safe pass, and it was really refreshing to see that. And then Koulibaly, I thought, put in pretty monstrous performance alongside Thiago Silva. We weren't really threatened in the game. Not that that's Everton's fault, because they were lacking options, particularly up front. But it wasn't a comfortable win by any means. But I felt that was due to lack of goals. But there was a lot to like about the signings. And lastly, to touch on, is the cameo of Cucurella was just very impressed.
Oh, yeah.
Very impressed.
My worry though, I mean, with Cucurella, he looks good, and I agree with all your signings look great, but I do also feel like new signings, they have a point to prove. Well, maybe some of your other players are more, they've been there for a while, they have their reputation there, but it's good. I agree with Sterling as well, something a bit more direct, someone who's there, as you said, when the keeper spilled it, to just get a tap in and stuff like that. I mean, that's a Sterling sort of goal, isn't it?
Yeah, all over.
But Cucurella for 63 million, I mean, is that for me? I know you say he can play in a back three on the left side, and maybe as well, I do say disclaimer that Chelsea, the fullbacks, is a really, really key, is probably one of the most key positions in a Chelsea team. But I still feel 63 million for any fullback is high.
I think it is, of course, a high fee. I don't think anyone's debating whether it's high or not. But I do think with transfers, it does come down to one thing: do they work? Because in a year or two, if it's a top signing that works out and he's class and it's helped the team elevate, no one really gives a shit. Like with Van Dijk at the time, even then, when it was a player at Southampton, there was a bit of 75 million's a lot. No one cares now because he's absolutely class. Whereas your Lukaku's, Kepa, all these multiple massive signings that have failed, that's where you look at the transfer
But
fee.
I always feel like, how much can a fullback really elevate a game?
In Chelsea's system,
Yeah.
I would say it's one of the most imperative parts. Like I said last week, when it comes to what happened last season, in terms of when we fell off completely in terms of form, in terms of level, it's when the wing-backs were missing. They're arguably, they were some of the more clinical players within our squad. I think Reece and Chilwell at the time were two of our three top scorers when they went out injured. So they're a big thing in terms of bringing goals to the team, and as well as that, they help in assuring that defence is very solid. So I think in terms of Tuchel's system, it's imperative that the wing backs are perfect, and he certainly looks like that.
Yeah, and I think modern attacking football in general, I think you're seriously underestimating the value and need for high quality fullbacks. You say I'm not sure how game changing they are. Try telling that to Klopp. I mean, Robertson and Trent are absolutely outrageous. I mean, and we all absolutely love Cancelo. I mean, he's probably in the top 5 players in the league, you'd say.
Yeah,
as a fullback, it's absolutely mental. Long gone are the days of your Gary Nevilles and all that sort of stuff. So
Gary Neville and Cancelo is an interesting
yeah,
comparison.
I know. But yeah,
Cancelo plays in midfield basically now, doesn't he?
yeah,
Really?
exactly. It's the role of the fullback is just so different.
But I
than
feel
it
like
was.
with Chelsea, it's is there a more glaring problem, such as a lack of a striker, like a true out and out striker?
Yeah, but I think we're looking at those anyway. So I don't think it's, and to be honest, I think in terms of the market, it's quite limited on which profile would suit Chelsea as an attacker, because who'd you go for? If you're looking at an Aubameyang or Ronaldo, it's not fitting the system, it's setting you back. We've just done that with Rom. You need a player who is going to suit, and profile-wise, there aren't a lot. I've seen people touting Depay. Is that really the answer? I'm not so sure. So I feel it's about getting goals all over the pitch. A bit like City in recent years, before they've added Haaland to that. You need your goals coming from everywhere, and our wing-backs can do that. Our midfielders don't so much, but I guess we'll see.
Yeah, I think the thing is, you say you'll probably judge the Cucurella signing and the importance of it at the end of the window, if whether or not Chelsea get the other positions. I think it's difficult. It is difficult to judge it now. I completely get what you're saying. So I think we're probably going to know how good a signing it is in a few weeks' time. I reckon.
Depends who comes through the door, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, it's an interesting one, though, because I kind of look at it as we're not scoring a lot of goals, so we're almost struggling to get wins, but we are hard to beat. I think with that system, with what Tuchel does, and with those players, we're not an easy team to just turn up. You're going to have a tough game, whatever it is, and we're not a rollover. So, that's a positive. But we touched on City.
Yeah.
Very impressive.
Outrageous.
Very impressive.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Is
just...
the title done?
It's men against boys, isn't it? It's a joke.
Is that the best first game of the season performance of all time?
Oh, I don't know about that. I don't know about that far, but...
But they actually killed them. Like, they weren't even there. They just didn't even turn... Like, West Ham didn't exist.
There was no bravery to try and beat the press, but there is a feeling of just suffocation when you play City. And how do you do that? Because you've got Rodri sat there in the middle, and this guy is just an absolute general.
Oh, his performance on Sunday. I mean, Haaland obviously got the plaudits for 2 goals, but he was my man of the match for sure. He was unbelievable.
Outrageous.
Shrugging players off the ball, just slowing it down when he needed to, speeding up when he needed it to. I thought his performance was a joke, to be honest.
It feels like every game is now at this point. He's just mustard.
Best DM in the world?
You could make the case.
Yeah.
He fits in every team, but who wouldn't take him right now? Let's be honest.
Yeah,
for sure.
You're not wrong. And also, I was very impressed with the number of performances for City. One of them, especially in that first half, we touched him earlier, Cancelo. We're seeing a left back wear the number 7, and it suits him to the ground.
Yeah, he looks like young Cristiano Ronaldo or something. It's nuts.
Literally,
it's nuts.
He's coming into midfield, weaving in from the left.
Yeah.
But this is like modern football now. They just there's no such thing as a position where people stay. Stationary. I can't say the word. Stationary position. They just drift in. These fullbacks that drift into midfield, create the extra man. I mean, it's crazy. And technically, outrageous.
He's one of the most interesting footballers I think I've ever seen. When I think of him as a fullback, I know a lot of plaudits go towards Trent in terms of going forward, but when I think Cancelo on the ball, I struggle to think of... Danny Alves was in that.
Yeah, he's similar.
Just incredibly technical.
And when we talk about flop transfers, Juventus swapping him for Danilo is one of the worst transfers of all time.
Danilo, he was awful as well, wasn't he?
He was to upgrade from Danilo to Cancelo is so
I know. City just get these players, don't they? How do they do it?
Yeah.
It's elite.
I also feel like Cancelo is a sort of player, you could put him in any position.
You could put him on the wing.
Yeah.
You could put him in midfield.
You could put him up front, probably. I reckon he'd do a job everywhere.
I reckon up front he could do a job.
Yeah. Even in net, he looks quite springy.
Well, weird to put the keeper out in there.
Yeah, swap him. Yeah. I reckon Edison could do a job, maybe in Rodri's position.
I mean, the way they're looking, they could have the league wrapped up by March. Hopefully Pep starts to experiment a little bit.
Yeah. I'm still looking for that Edison pen, right?
Finally give him that pen, for God's sake.
I was waiting a long time.
I was literally thinking that, because there was chat about that. I remember on FPL last year, everyone's like, Edison on pens.
Well, they're crap at pens.
They are.
Well, now with Haaland, oof.
Are they now?
Yeah.
I mean, this robot...
he looked boss, didn't he?
Yeah, he was absolutely unreal. I think his interview epitomised everything about him, and that is unique. It was very, very scary seeing City with a man running in behind consistently. Like, he's making his run long before those midfielders have even... He makes their mind up for them.
Yeah, run makes the pass, 100%.
Yeah, Gundogan's turn was lovely, but before he's even made that pass, Haaland's on his bike.
Yeah.
De Bruyne was the same.
Likewise,
in the second half.
yeah.
And you never had despite his missing the Community Shield, there wasn't even a shred of doubt he was burying that, was there?
No. You knew when he was in on goal that was going one place.
His acceleration is just like, have you even seen anything like that? It's like Henry back
for
in
a
the
guy
day.
that size.
Yeah, as well.
And it's mad.
His mentality, I always love, I'm a big, as you'll get to know, I'm a big, all about the attitude and mentality. And in his interview, it was like, I haven't scored in 30 minutes now. I mean, who says that? That is like killer. Like, he just loves goals. He loves winning. He's an absolute killer. And that's what, just insane.
He's just nuts, isn't he? When he realises, I'm going to make a run now, and he puts his head down, his arms go out, and he does that weird
the
run.
mechanics start.
It's the robot starts to whir, and he starts just going like this, and running like this, and all of a sudden he's in behind, and he's round the goalie, and he's won a penalty.
Yeah, and the next thing you know, he's on the floor giving it all this.
Yeah, great celebration.
He's a cool character, and but he's going to be some addition to an already very incredible side.
But do we think, is he going to dominate almost every game, or is he going to have that spell of 3 or 4 games without scoring? Because in the Premier League, it's really rare. I think Salah was the last one who beat Salah and Suarez were like probably the last 2 I can think of in recent years where they like every game they were just insane, right? And they really dominated.
The thing that will stop Haaland is injuries. I think that seems to be a precursor from Dortmund. We've seen he does pick up the odd thing, but if they keep him fully fit, it's hard to see him not scoring a stupid amount of goals.
Yeah, I mean, we said what would be a failure, didn't we, last week? We were like, I think 15 goals, mate. That could be. It could be.
I think there might be a little dry spell. I can smell it a little bit.
Yeah,
I think
potentially.
I just feel it's really hard. It's really rare, and especially as maybe could be completely wrong here, but it's really rare to just go out and if you just be fit for all 38 games to dominate every single game for the whole season. It's a really rare skill for a player to happen.
Well, the Golden Boot race is underway, and we had another man popping up with a brace and some performance.
Hell of a performance.
My performance of the weekend from an individual, I'd say, in Mitro, I thought he absolutely battered Liverpool. In every sense.
He was mad, wasn't he? Not only, I mean, his first goal is what you'd kind of expect from Mitrovic. Pin himself on a fullback. Obviously Trent, obviously.
Very good one to target that back post.
And dominate him, head it in. But it was like his general hold-up play, his touch play. I think there was one point in the second half when he Cruyff turned it.
Van Dijk sold Van Dijk. Yeah, he sold him again for a penny.
He sent two of them like the wrong way, and it was just like, is this a new Mitro?
And he was slowing down the play, winning fouls. It was a real all-round. It was Diego Costa-esque. Yeah, that's what it felt to me, like a proper...
Seems like a much more mature player than he has been in previous seasons in the Premier League.
Oh yeah, I couldn't agree with everything more. And I also thought Fulham, it was like watching FIFA Street.
They were just good, especially in that first, a bit like Arsenal, that first 20 minutes. I thought Paella looks a good sign.
Yeah.
Just sniffing out those channels whenever he needed to, cutting off any pass. Looked like a really impressive player.
Pereira as well, I thought was excellent as well.
Yeah, and deckled over Reed. This is a player that I thought, are you still here?
Yeah.
Are you still here? I thought he was very impressive. Yeah. And Robinson, to be honest, did a good... I know he got an assist and a goal, but I thought he did a good job on Salah in general, but it's hard to keep him out. He's always just there for a goal.
He, as you would say, he is inevitable.
He is inevitable, sadly. But another person that was a bit inevitable when he came on, I thought he did change the game, was Nunez.
But is he just a bit jammy? I think I said this last week. It's like he's sort of like the Werner, but just accidentally gets the goal instead. Like, but he just feels like a jammy guy. You know,
he's unconventional.
The assist was like, it's like, oh, he's got a goal and assist, but he just fell on it. You know what I mean?
He just literally miscontrolled the ball. It was nuts. And then the goal, he obviously had the chance before, the same chance. Second one comes along. I think he missed it. Yeah. It hit Adarabioyo, and then it hit him, and then it went in.
Yeah.
And it's like you say, he just looks awkward, but seems when he comes on, he just causes chaos, and that's the thing. He was just a different dimension to what Firmino had brought for the previous 50 minutes.
He looked sluggish. He looked older, and Liverpool to an extent. A lot of their players looked a bit. I've seen a lot of Liverpool fans actually saying, "Is it time for Hendo to have a bit of have someone come in maybe that can do the job?" I don't know whether that's Harvey Elliott in the immediate future, but I thought he was all right when he came on. But their defence didn't look great, and there's a recurring theme that it happens most games. I'm going to say games because it is most games. I mean, the last two it is. You got Real Madrid in the final. That back post, he is never positioned, and when you hold a player to that esteem in Trent, where I hear debates of one of the best of all time already, comparing him to players like Dani Alves. I saw some people touting him as the best fullback the Premier League's had when you've got players like Ashley Cole, which is just mad to me. And this is a player that's incredible on the ball. He's a great passer. He's a great crosser. He's not a bad defender, but when you hold him to that level, this is a regular thing. And it's not to say Mitro is not amazing in the air, because he is, but the best defenders, the best fullbacks, and your Maldinis, the Ashley Coles, I'd say Kyle Walker and Reece both position themselves better to shift that out of play.
Would you say that Trent is a system or Liverpool system player? As in, would you say that, like for instance, if he came to a team like Arsenal, for instance, would he be more exposed? Because for me, I wouldn't have him in my England 11. And I just think it just doesn't suit the way like sort of England play. He's not an international player. He's an unbelievable talent, super going forward, but I don't know if he fits in every team. I think he suits Liverpool. That's his strength, right?
Yeah,
as well.
Yeah, completely agree. I think Liverpool play for him a lot. They put Henderson in that right channel, Fabinho. Like, it is a lot of their game is to accommodate for Trent's pretty dodgy defensive positioning. I think, like you say, his defending of the back post isn't great. I think the Real Madrid one is harsh. I think that
Van Dijk's getting his blunder out as well. It's not completely on, but the Villarreal one, it does happen.
It is.
Yeah,
it's a common thing.
No. Obviously, I'm not saying he's the best defender ever, but I think you're.
What he gives you going forward, I get completely why people rave about him, and I'm not doubting for any second that he's not an incredible player. I just think when I see him thrown around in debates of best of all time, when at the end of the day, as much as he's won awful amount of trophies already, he is so young and he has got a lot of mistakes in him, and there are holes in his game, and the best don't tend to have those holes. As good as he is going forward, I think this seems to be a recurring thing where it's definitely something he needs to work on. Because, like you said, in England, Kyle Walker and Reece, are they making those mistakes when you need them?
Probably not. But I think, I know your opinion on this, Guy. Are you Trent or Reece
for England?
Or no, just in general. Who's the better player?
Trent.
Yeah,
for me. I know for you.
Mate, I'm in a rage is coming out with you.
Yeah, I know. I can see.
He's getting red in his face. I can tell he's angry.
I can see you bubbling. I can see you bubbling away. Yeah. But for me, it's Trent. I think Reece James is the better defender. I think that's pretty undeniable.
But even his output was the same as his last season, and he was injured for 4 months. So even going forward, there is an argument there. If he was playing in a team as good as Liverpool, because we are behind, would he even get the same output anyway? I think
you do have to, in the system. I think he does play right wing back. I think it's a lot easier to get the numbers from that position than it is. And by the same token, I think you're going to get exposed a bit less defensively in a 5 than you are in a 4. I'm not saying that Reece makes the same mistakes that Trent would if he was playing in a 4. I don't think that, but I just think that Trent has done it for a number of seasons now. I know Reece has had a good couple of seasons, but Trent has done it for a good. I would like to double the time. You probably say. So for me, it would be Trent.
Fair enough.
I would like to see Reece more as well start for England in those sort of like big games and in a back 4 and see how he would perform in a back 4. And also, I feel like Trent, just his long range of passing, even just his crossing is a threat. Even doesn't get an assist, it might just bobble onto someone else and they get a shot on goal. So I think that is a threat. But Reece has a great whip as well on him. They're both great players.
I just think in terms of who's more complete and who offers you a more all-round package, that would be Reece in my opinion. I'd say Walker's probably the best defensively of the 3.
Yeah, his pace is a joke.
Yeah, because of that recovery. But I just think in terms of an all-round package, who offers you the most in each attribute, I think it's Reece all day personally.
I think for now,
that right side centre back role as well, he's fine there as well. He's very comfortable. I think he'd be.
I think for now I'm still Trent, but I wouldn't have him start for England. So maybe I'd love to see a good Reece James World Cup, and that would really.
I would like him to have a nice rest personally. Play Trent all he likes.
Oh yeah, anti-England over here.
Yeah, I'm not anti-England. I'm just pro-Chelsea.
Yeah. Okay.
No,
but yeah, I'd say that was probably the best game of the lot of the weekend. The 2-2.
Yeah, it's very good.
But Sunday's fixtures also had Man United Brighton. I would say a shock, but it wasn't really. You felt like you were sort of watching same old Man United.
Yeah, it's like different. Yeah, like you say, different manager, same United. It's mental, and obviously he's not going to get it right in one game. I think that's abundantly clear. But it was very interesting to see them start without an out and out centre forward.
Yeah.
I know that Ronaldo was probably never really going to play, but it didn't work for me. I thought Eriksen was probably one of their best players.
I think easily as well.
Yeah. But they just didn't really do much, did they? I know that Rashford missed a good couple of chances, but Brighton just looked like a much more accomplished football team.
They were awesome.
They were great. I just want to touch on Man United. I feel in terms of the rebuild and the project, I've seen it at Arsenal and I've seen it at Liverpool, but certainly from just like watching Arsenal, the rebuild takes so long. And I think we always say in football we don't have enough time, but there really is. The only way to really get a full rebuild is you get rid of almost the entire squad and bring in solely your players. But the United board have to give them the full backing and the time, and it's going to take maybe a year, maybe 2 years. I know they did it with Ollie, but they seeing the signings they're linked to today, Arnautovic and Rabiot, I'm like, this is the wrong way to go about it. But you basically need to be going into the mentality where every signing you have has to be at least an 8 out of 10 above. And he needs to just start clearing out that dead wood.
And fits.
Yeah, and fits. And they have to fit his system. And I just think this takes so long. And I'm not going to jump onto the, Ten Hag out or like a Manu out.
I think that'd be a bit premature for
anyone.
Ten Hag out.
Yeah. No, but I just feel like there's going to be a lot. From the first game, there's going to be a lot of hate. But, I watched it with Arteta. We finished 8th twice, and everyone's like, why is he still there? It's like, just wait for the finished project. Wait till it gets, and like from, it takes so long to get to that stage. Some teams can achieve it quicker. You saw with Liverpool, it took him at least 2-3 years to get to that. And the only way you do it is you basically have to clear your whole squad and bring in everyone who's going to love you, respect you, and fight for your ideas on the pitch. And with the old guys as well, and the old mentality, you got your Rashfords and all these people have been there for so long. They've got that losing mentality. They've got the same, it doesn't matter who the manager is. I'm going to try, but they just need a whole sort of refresh of squad for me. Yeah. That's going to take time.
And two of those players we haven't mentioned in particular, McFred. I mean, they really were running the circus. I thought McTominay, it could have been off early doors. Yeah. He was horrendous. He's not a player that I think improves many, if any, Premier League sides. I genuinely mean that. I've never been a big fan of the bloke, but certainly not the aspirations Man United have. They can't be having a midfielder start like that because he's just not good enough. And I can imagine it's very frustrating as United fans seeing that. And we're not giving enough credit here to how awesome Brighton were.
Incredible. And
the context of losing Basuma, losing Cucurella, and playing like that. I mean, you know my thoughts on it. That's your future England gaffer, or should be now, to be honest. I think he's absolutely class.
The boy who lived.
The boy who lived, yeah.
How you can
and Ten Hag come to die.
Yeah, exactly. yeah, very good.
That's nice. But how you can get a team like Brighton playing that well and with those systems? I mean, at times I was like, what even formation are they playing? They were going like for a 3-4-3 and then a 3-2-2. It was crazy. I've never seen a lineup like that. And the way they was like interlinking, swapping around, I was like, I'm lost. Like, who's playing where?
Yeah. And we're forgetting he's getting a tune out of Danny Welbeck.
Danny Welbeck was a prime R9.
He is crap.
Yeah.
Let's not forget how bad he is at football. And he is getting a serious tune out of him.
He was awesome. And so was Caicedo.
Caicedo
was absolutely electric.
Yeah, literally.
Obviously, Gross got the goals and the headlines, but there was so much to like about that Brighton performance. It should have been 3-0. We need to touch on that penalty because Martinez, I didn't think his debut was awful, but how the referee, first of all, can look at that and not see that's a pen. How VAR can look at it and say that's not a pen, or at least say, go look at the screen, mate. Yeah. That is as blatant a decision.
He looked like a baby boy out there, honestly. Like next to Maguire, I was like, "Who is this kid? Like, have they taken him from the fans or something just to chuck on there?" He looked lost. Yeah, honestly, he looked lost out there, and I think it's going to be. I've seen a lot of talk about Ben White first game against Brentford. He got ripped apart. True. Where is the Martinez hate after that game? Where is it?
Well, from Gary Neville, he's awful quiet. And I remember doing a special piece on Ben White. So
Where's the hate? I mean, he looked so out of place. And look, fair enough, he looks good on the ball. But I have no idea how he's going to survive in the Prem at that height. And it doesn't look like he's got a particularly good jump either on him, really.
I thought he did all right in his duels. There were a couple where he did contest well. But the thing is, you've got that nice top trump whenever it comes to a short centre-back. And when we were with Koundé, I had it at the ready. I know he's not here anymore, but you just slap it on the table and say, Cannavaro. Yeah. Cannavaro's 5'9", so it means he's not a problem.
He doesn't look wide. Like, even just a centre-back, you want to block shots. He doesn't look like he's blocking anything. He looks tiny, he looks slim and everything. He needs to get on the Wheaties, honestly. Get some size on him.
On the Wheatos?
The Wheaties.
Professor Wheatos.
Yeah, I thought, is that a bulking food?
Yeah, a little bit good macros.
Yeah, nice. But no, he does look pretty sort of small, doesn't he? I think he was brought in and he was kind of wasn't he known as the butcher?
The butcher, yeah.
I mean, I didn't really see him other than barging Danny.
Butchered him in the back.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Other than that, I didn't really see much butchery going on. And that's what United need. I said it last week. Roy Keane needs some leaders in there, and he did look at.
You need people to do their job.
Yeah, you need people to do their job. Yeah, and without kind of, it's not any steel in the midfield. It needs to come from somewhere, and it didn't come from him. So it was. I thought they were pretty abject. United, I thought.
And another man that was very, very ghost-like performance was Bruno.
Yeah,
completely anonymous.
Missed in the first half.
Missed the sitter.
Yeah, at the start. That's I think a man short on confidence, really.
Yeah.
And I feel that he was the special guy when he first arrived, and Ronaldo came, and since then he just looks lack of confidence, lack of self-belief, doesn't feel. Sometimes you need to be the star man. That sort of helps elevate you. You feel the responsibility on the pitch. I just don't think right now he's enjoying his football, really.
Yeah, I think that's fair analysis. So we had a couple more games obviously to cover. There was Villa started. I did say, Gerard, pressure might be on. They went away to Bournemouth, who we've all had to go down, all down bottom of the table.
Yeah, rock bottom.
And they lost 2-0.
I've got my fun fact for the day.
Go on.
Steven Gerrard has the same win percentage as Gary Neville at Valencia.
That is not good company.
Is that right?
Yeah, that is right.
That's
There we go.
35%.
Oh my goodness gracious me.
He's in trouble. I don't know how. Again, hidden from the media, really, not really being called out for his poor performances.
As a player, as a manager, it's the same thing.
As a player, behave.
As a player, it's the same thing.
That's a whole different
same
debate.
thing. Always protected, Stevie.
Yeah,
We'll move on. That can come up another day.
But yeah, I think that they've got two more sort of more winnable games, and I think their fixtures take a serious turn. So if they're without a win after 6-7 games, I think there's going to be serious question marks.
I think when I saw Mings out of the team, I thought, like, I know you've taken the captaincy off him, but you are playing with fire a bit there, just in terms of upsetting the apple cart and taking such a big prominent character, obviously within the squad, out the team. It is a statement and a half. Like,
Yeah, and he strips him of the captaincy as well.
Yeah.
Which is nuts.
To be fair, I was kind of happy he was out of the team because that means he's less likely to be picked for England, and he is shocking for England. So,
I mean, how he gets in that squad on the regular, I'll never know.
it's his left foot. I mean, it's because you have a left
just
foot.
different
Yeah,
profile.
left-footed.
don't know how that
Yeah.
works, but
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, Bournemouth starting with a win, very surprising, very very surprising there. But we had Aston Villa rather. We had a bit of a bust up at Leeds. I don't know if you saw this. Jesse Marsh.
I did see
and
that,
Bruno
yeah.
Largen in charge.
Yeah. There was a bit of head loss there on the sideline,
Yeah,
wasn't
it
there?
was.
What was it over? Do we know? I think they said it in Match of the Day
I think
afterwards.
Jesse
But
said, "You don't know where I'm from, dog."
that's like Clint Dempsey thing, isn't it, to Micah Richards?
Bruno just with a little, "I've got bald."
Yeah, exactly. But it was a big win for Leeds to start their season positively. I mean, Bamford's back in the fold as well, which could be big
Nice
for them.
to see as well because he's had a tough year.
Yeah, no, he really hasn't. They got the Americans in the lineup in the roster, which is good. Which is good to see from Jesse. But yeah, I think there was a lot of hope with Wolves, wasn't there? Particularly from an FPL point of view. Neto.
Yeah, I mean, but did you see Neto's little roulette?
Yeah.
Oh, that was silly.
I do love watching him. I have to admit, like,
He's
Wolves
a
obviously
player.
they're lacking Jimenez. I've seen they're signing Guedes.
Yeah,
from
that's a
Valencia.
good buy. He's a good player. He's a bit of a player.
They're losing Connor Cody, like.
Yeah.
Guys at the
really
top is-
interesting signing that.
Yeah.
But I reckon he's not the same player as he is. But in terms of squad,
Well, Everton played a 3 against us, and if that's something Frank wants to stick at, I think Cody's.
he's
a
good
player.
Also, they need leaders.
Leaders,
Frank
true,
wants leaders big
true.
time. That's what he loves in this squad.
I mean, not that it really matters in the modern game, but he's a Liverpool fan, isn't he?
Yeah,
Cody?
a reverse Cara move.
Yeah, exactly.
that's
Maybe
right,
he's
yeah.
got a Liverpool tattoo on his arm. Do you remember that chat? Cara
Yeah.
used to wear long. Cara used to wear long sleeves because he had a massive Everton tattoo
He
on
did
his
always
arm.
wear long sleeves, didn't he? Yeah.
Actually had a massive Everton tattoo on his bicep. Whether or not that's true, I'm
highly
very
doubt that.
sceptical. But yeah, no, interesting move for him. With Tarkowski in there as well. But they going back to just while we're on Everton, they need some signings.
100%.
When you're starting with Anthony Gordon up front.
Claire Balding, as he's also known.
Yeah, his Barnet is shocking.
Great presenter.
His Barnet is shocking. Then you're in big trouble. So I fear for them. But yeah, back to Leeds, really big win for
Yeah,
them.
it was a big win.
It's not. Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see what happens. I think they're quite an inconsistent side, aren't they? Though you don't really know what's going to happen each game, but they bring something different. So
And they've got a good set of fans.
yeah, great. So yeah, you want to see them in the Prem for sure, Leeds.
Yeah, and we haven't touched on them out of choice, to be honest. None of us like them.
No.
But the Spuds,
Yeah.
they had a very good start. Well, not quite the start.
Very round two.
Are we going to boo them every
We're
time
going to
we
boo them. We're
mentioned?
talking about the Spuds.
Yeah.
We got some Spud fans here. We got to be nice to them.
Yeah, we do.
And
So,
they were
Sam Wills.
very good. I mean, we had Southampton going 1-0 up, but I mean they were rampant, weren't they? Without a Kane goal.
Yeah, Kuleveski.
Well,
He's a baller.
it is August. Don't forget. So Kane was never going to score.
Yeah.
That's very true. I mean, the man knows he doesn't start till September.
But yeah, you just touched on him there. Kulusevski looked.
He's a
looked
baller.
good, didn't he?
He's got a
How
proper
does
one.
Richarlison get in?
I don't know if
Champions League games?
rotation. Yeah, I mean, there's always going to be an injury as well. At one point, Kane might get injured.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyone can get injured that he might fit in. Also, he needs squad depth these days. I mean, look at the other teams, the
true.
top 6 teams. They have such big squad depth. So I think it's very important to have that sort of extra player you can put on and maybe impact the game.
I just think it's interesting from Richarlison's point of view because you know how passionate Brazilian players are about their country, and it's a World Cup year. And with the World Cup year comes minutes needed, and someone like Richarlison's obviously competing in that front line for Brazil. And I just look at it with Spurs. And I think, how are you going to get in? Because Kulusevski he started how he left off Whereas last season you thought, is it just good form? He wasn't great at Juve. He really does look somewhere, doesn't he?
He's like gives me the Eriksen vibe. He has that same sort of wand, cuts in the left, just bends it beautifully every time. And that was a surprise actually. Kane should have been in there in the box for a couple of his crosses and just nodding in really.
Yeah, he's an absolute. Like you say, he connects with the ball so well, doesn't he? He's got a serious wand of a left foot. Left-footed, people say it all the time, and it's true. Left-footed players are always easy on the eyes.
There is just something different hits about a left.
You watch Mahrez dribble the ball and you think, wow.
Yeah. I mean, I was sold dreams with Ziyech. I was like, this guy's got something.
You see the left foot and immediately
he got sold by that one clip that everyone's seen.
Everyone's like, he has made a career. I mean, he's had a bit more of a career than this, but essentially one pass from an amazing angle. Everyone's like, what a crossfield dive.
Left-footed players just have that wand, don't they? And it's just
something different about them.
It's great to see. But yeah, Spurs off to a bit of a flyer.
But to be fair, Southampton,
you and me both tipped them to go down.
Yeah, I feel like that game should be a 4-1 win really, or 4-0 win really. I feel like Southampton, they're not the biggest test right now. And defensively, they are just leaking. Oh my god, they are just like it's a Titanic back there, honestly.
Yeah, they are not looking good. It's not looking good, Rev.
It's not looking good, big man team, yeah.
Well, in the world of football, there was also another game that I really enjoyed on Saturday evening, was the PSG game. And, I mean, Messi and Neymar are cooking. You guys know I tipped them for Champions League, but they're starting to cook over there. I mean, we did have a little discussion earlier.
We did.
Was it intentional, Messi's assist?
I mean, you guys first, but I don't mind. I have a very strong point of view on this, but I mean, if you want to go first.
I will always back him to do things that we've never seen before and do things that only he is capable of. And for that reason, I could never rule out that he meant it because it's him. But surely he hasn't meant that. No. Surely he has not meant that.
Not for me. I think it's what I said earlier. I think the way that he touches it, and if you have meant that as a pass or a cushion off for someone, I think you immediately check behind to see that Neymar's there and retrieving that ball. I think he's touched it and he's kind of gone, I haven't controlled the ball there. And
Neymar's taken it well though.
Oh, great finish.
Yeah.
Well, great finish. The way I look at it, and he does turn around by the way, but maybe a slight delay. But I was really looking at it in analysis. First of all, if the ball's coming across you this way, you're more likely to put your body behind it. But if you see he does a little jump to the left,
it is a weird way he's taking it.
He jumps a little bit to the left, and you see his foot. I want to get this right. I want to get the VAR out. It's a perfect angle. He flicks with his right foot, just a little flick. There's a little flick. Now, why would you do that unless in the millisecond you go, oh, the ball's going to go behind me, I'm going to miss the ball. He's like, I'm just going to do a little touch to it. But he just flicks his little ankle over there, and you can just see the ball just take the edge off. And then he does turn around. Maybe it's a slight delay, but he does turn around. And
he does turn around, but I think you would look with more urgency than that. I know what you mean. He kind of goes to his left. I think he's going to sort of chop it then with his right foot.
Yeah.
Open his body up this way, chop it with his right foot, bring it onto his left and slam it across goal. That's what I think he's going to do.
We need an interview with the man.
Get
him on the pod.
But
get him on the pod.
Get that trending.
Come on.
Messi's
on Tiki.
Yeah. But also, he has got the best vision of all time and the best technique of all time.
You couldn't rule him.
I'm not categorically saying no, but I don't think so.
I'm with you. I want to believe.
I'm telling you, watch the lean. I think you would put your body behind it to get as much surface area when it's coming across to get the touch on the right foot to move to the left.
I don't know. But one thing that was definitely deliberate in that game was his overhead kick.
Oh, 100%.
It was the first of his career.
Was it?
Of all the goals he scored, that's his first overhead kick. Yeah.
It was similar to that one that Ronaldinho scored for Barca all those years ago when he chests it up in the air and then sort of hooks it over his.
It was weird. It's like a dink.
Yeah, it was the goal he didn't. He sort of almost took it so quickly that the keeper couldn't really react. And it just beautifully lofted over him. It was a fantastic goal.
Everyone loves a no keeper react their goal.
Yeah,
that's the best.
When they just stand there.
Yeah, that is the best.
Rooted to the spot.
Although I did see a funny video or photo comparison of Ronaldo in the air doing his bicycle kick.
It doesn't compare in terms of
Messi's
the athleticism is just incomparable.
Messi's literally holding the ground.
As far as bicycle kicks go, it's almost reminiscent of his little roly-poly against City.
Yeah.
He fell is kind of similar.
Yeah. I'm not comparing Messi to Sunday League here, but it's the kind of Sunday League overhead kick. It's not a Rooney or Ronaldo overhead kick. Do you know what I mean?
Flying in the air by any means. He's sort of just fallen backwards.
I'm not saying Messi.
We're not taking that away from him.
Messi is not a Sunday League player. I just want to put that out.
Just to clarify.
But Hakimi looked good. I mean, he took his goal really well, didn't he?
Absolutely. Really well. I mean, like I said, touched on last week, with Gaultier playing them in a 5, that that is Hakimi's position. He's not
Yeah.
really a right back. A right wing back is so his bag.
His speed.
It's insane.
He's another one with acceleration where he can just munch up ground, honestly.
And you've added, even in the last week, they've added obviously Renato Sanchez, but now Fabian Ruiz from Napoli. So they've got more midfield options. That formation suits them down to ground. It's surreal seeing Messi and Ramos in a team, though, I have to say. It's very, very odd. It's not something you would have ever... If you said 5 years ago, this is a picture of the future, you would never have said you'd see Messi and Ramos. It's very surreal.
It's mad, isn't it?
On a separate note, with Mbappe, where's he fitting? I mean, obviously he's going to fit him because he's basically owns the club now, but like... It's one of those players where classic example of, you're Ronaldo not playing, you play better. The sort of the big ego. Just
I don't know though. With him, I don't know, but I just think him on that left channel is
a 5-2-3 type thing.
Yeah, similar to our system, really. To be honest,
or like something like that.
Yeah.
But I feel like I feel Messi and Neymar's chemistry is better, and I feel like Mbappe is quite a solo player. Obviously, can turn a game on its head in a moment. But I do feel it's one of them that does it upset the sort of chemistry and dynamics they have on the pitch. I mean, that
I
obviously
think they could interchange very well. I mean, like the back end of the season, you started to see it a lot more. But when you have with Mbappe, I mean, especially with the deal they've given him and the fact that he is the manager, or not the manager rather, but
board member or whatever he is.
Yeah, whatever power he's got going on over there. There's no way he's not going to be starting anyway. But also, how could you hold him back? Because that boy's ceiling is. I don't even know what it is. He reminds me just of like a hybrid of R9 and Henry in just terms of those left channels, but
100%
joke of a player. And he's got that trademark finish. Like a lot of the best players have always got that. Robin had his cut in.
Henry.
Henry had his open himself up far
finish.
Post.
Yeah.
R9 had his step overs around the keeper.
Aguero used to near post roof in the net all the time.
Smashing it in that near post.
Great goals.
Whereas Mbappe's got his, and it's that little cut in, and then keeper just sold near post.
Yeah, just closed his foot on it, and it's
a lovely technique to watch.
It is. He's a fascinating career to watch, and will it be crowned off at the end of the year? We will cover this because we covered in our predictions last week a lot to do with Premier League and Champions League, but we didn't talk about international football because we do have a mid-season break. Who are we feeling for the World Cup? Will Mbappe have a crown? Will France retain their World Cup?
I think you'd ask most people, people smelling South American teams as like the favourites. We would love to see Argentina win, wouldn't we? Really?
Yeah, I mean, we'll be honest, we're all Messi.
We're Messi,
100%.
But yeah, it'd be great to Argentina. I think Brazil, but Brazil always the favourites.
I love how we just rule out England. We're like, well, that's not happening. So who's actually winning it, guys?
I've actually got my prediction.
Is it coming home?
Well, I put it in as sort of like, but you kind of do. You're like, yeah, but I don't know. You know what it is? Luckily, it's aircon stadiums. I got to say, would have melted in that sun. but yeah, I mean,
have you got any gingers knocking around? Just trying to think is anyone going to really struggle in that sun? But like you said, the aircon's helped massively.
I don't think we've got any.
Maguire being very red faced is something I could have imagined.
Yeah, he would struggle. He would struggle in the sun.
Kane's quite pale. He's quite pale.
I couldn't see Ramsdale coping well in the heat either.
Yeah, he's quite. Yeah,
or Pickford for that matter.
Or Pickford.
Yeah. Roasted.
His hair gel will just melt.
But yeah, But it's hard. We've got a tough side of the draw as well. We've got if the favourites go through first. France quarterfinals, Belgium semis. It's not exactly. Although Belgium, people saying post. Is it done now with Belgium?
I think golden generation's over.
Of a team with that clown in charge.
Yeah.
I never rated him, man. He lived off. And look, it was an FA Cup at Wigan. Okay, that is massive. They did go down that same year, and at Everton, I thought he was. I've never understood Martinez. I never understood the hype around him, and the fact that they gave that golden generation a prime Eden Hazard, combined with De Bruyne at still a ridiculous level. I'd say he's hit newer levels. Really, it feels like with De Bruyne now, like a different level of consistency. While Eden's fallen by the wayside, but you did have a very good team. That 2018 World Cup, and they were unlucky to go to France, go out to France then. But I just think to give that golden gen to that manager, I never understood it.
Yeah. Totally agree.
I don't know why they kept re-signing him. They were like, yeah, Martinez on a new deal. You're like, what? This guy again?
Well, then he kept getting linked with like big European clubs. And it's like, how?
He was linked to Arsenal, wasn't he? At one point, I was about to quit my team. I was like, the season ticket going.
I said big European clubs.
I'm not going to disagree with that.
Yeah,
one.
I know.
Boo.
But no, boo.
I'm such a Liverpool fan.
But yeah, he completely wasted that team. You'd say. And it's a shame because they had so many good players. I mean, you had that Spurs back line, didn't you?
Yeah. Company, is it? Yeah.
And Courtois, obviously,
Witsel.
fantastic goalie. So yeah, I don't see them competing really in the proper nitty gritty of the tournament.
But Belgium do have also like they have like a real country divide between the two. But they have a split in the half. I can't remember what I'm saying. They're split between the Flemish and the other side. So there's I think it's one of those countries which they don't feel as proud to represent. Maybe I'm wrong here, but they're not like as united. There's like some who speak French, some who speak Belgium. So it's like it's a bit of a mix.
Yeah, I always think that is there like a lack of cohesion with a country like that. Someone maybe like Switzerland or something. Similar kind of. There's. No, I think that the language they all spoke in the Belgian camp was English, which is quite
that's very odd.
Which is quite mental. You had like Sean Maloney as one of the assistant managers, didn't you?
Really?
Yeah.
I remember Aston Villa. I remember he scored 2 goals against us.
He was one of the.
Did he play for Wigan as well? He's
a
ball at Wigan.
Yeah, free kick
motion. Yeah.
But yeah, no, he was one of the assistant managers, and like, they're speaking his language. Henri speaking English. Martinez speaking. They're all speaking English, and it's just all a bit. It's all a bit weird.
But that's Sean Maloney and Henri. What a combo that would have been.
I know.
Shame we never got to see that as players, to be honest.
Yeah, I know who I would have picked.
Yeah.
Well, I do feel like you've got to want to represent your country and be proud of your country. That's like where the passion comes from. And we talk about England, the golden generation, how we let that go, and they all said they cared more about their clubs rather than representing England.
Good men.
Yeah, I disagree, but I do.
Go on, Frank.
I do feel like that is one of the things that can hold a country back. And even though you're a super talented squad, but the cohesion, I do feel international football is a completely different game to normal football.
I think that's what makes everyone lean towards South American sides, because there is that passion.
100%.
I know it's something as simple as singing a song, but the contrast with Italy in the Euros and us, even something as small as that, I don't know, it just feels so. It does feel tangible in terms of the passion they feel for representing their country more so than just us sort of mumbling along.
We need Jerusalem on. That's why.
I know.
Get Jerusalem on.
Yeah, our national anthem doesn't help, does it?
What do you make?
Jerusalem.
Gigs talking the hardest.
I don't know. That's a good question. It's coming home. It's got to be. It's coming home.
Sweet Caroline.
Oh, yeah, Sweet Caroline. Yeah.
It's coming home. No, it's coming home or Sweet Caroline. Yeah.
Everyone seems to know the score.
Yeah.
Could you imagine that? That'd be amazing.
Imagine that.
I don't know, the Sweet Caroline bit though.
Yeah.
That would hype you up.
Oh,
then we do like the Italians, Chiellini belting it out.
Sweet Caroline. Yeah. The royal family, the Queen singing.
Yeah. God save our gracious Caroline.
Yeah. Make a little hybrid, a little remix.
Yeah. Halfway through. Yeah.
But the Italy one is like, they scream it, don't they? You think Bonucci and Chiellini.
Feel it.
Oh, it's nuts. So yeah, it doesn't really put you in a good position to start the game, does it? When you feel like ours is a little bit drowsy, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I mean, this doesn't decide a tournament by any means. It does. There's something nice, to be honest, to watch about these international tournaments and see that level of patriotism towards what they're playing for, like players crying and all sorts. It's a different level of emotion involved.
That's why I love it.
So who do we have?
I was going to ask.
It's coming home.
Yeah, is it?
It's coming home.
Oh yeah, I love it.
I believe it.
Do you?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm going to say I believe it. I stuck with that prediction when I made my World Cup predictions a few weeks ago, mate. So I'm going to do it again. It's coming home.
Okay.
Tobes?
Oh, mate, I'm really torn. I think one of the biggest factors at that tournament could be who have you got in charge. And you know me, I'm very... Thanks for making it good vibes, Southgate, but you're not quite it. We can get Potter and we can get the boy who lived. Spain and Germany, I think, are interesting because I think they've got the best managers by far of anyone. Hansi Flick is someone whoever ends up getting him next, if the club gets him, I think they're really cooking. He's legit. Cooking. They might not have quite the same level of talent as some of the others, but when you've got a coach like that, I think you could do very well. And likewise with Spain with Luis Enrique, because you've got several talented players. I mean, we saw Pedri at that Euros.
They're quite a young
Spain
squad.
Spain were lucky to go out to Italy. Let's not forget they gave them a better game really than we did in terms of really coming out their shell and contesting. I felt they are quite. And that's with Morata up top, and he took his goal well. But,
they're quite a young squad though. I don't know if that's an issue when it comes to. I mean, Mbappe was a teenager when he won. Sometimes you play more, you're fearless, but I do feel with Spain maybe lacking a bit of some experience. I mean, is Busquets going? Yeah. Is he still going to be knocking about?
Probably.
Well, despite like I'm pointing out that I think the managers are very good. I just think those are two teams that will go quite far into the competition. But I do think it'll be a South American winner. And I want to say Argentina. I really do, but I don't. I think Brazil. I think Brazil are going to do it. I think when I look at that Brazil side, there's not much weakness going on other than maybe right back, because Emerson Royale I see starting sometimes, and I think maybe not him. Although he ended the season okay, but there's a lot to like about that Brazil side. I mean, first off, you got the keepers. I think you got one last dance from Thiago Silva. You got Marquinhos there. You know, in terms of their forward options,
At the
Militao, yeah. But you know how much of a fan I am of Rafinha. I think he's class. You got Vinicius, who's really come into his own.
Jesus, obviously.
Jesus, obviously. Richarlison.
Yeah. My only thing with Brazil, I'm pretty sure they are the favourites for every World Cup.
They are, yeah.
And they I don't know, it just hasn't seemed to work for them. Maybe this will be a different one.
So I think Brazil are going to win the World Cup.
Interesting.
I hope I'm wrong, but I hope I'm wrong. It's England, but if it's not England, which it won't be, I hope it's Messi.
Yeah,
and just
I agree.
Crown his career the way it deserves to be crowned.
I'll spice it up. Portugal.
Oh.
Yeah, I think they're good all over the pitch. Obviously, you got Diaz, you got Cancelo, Bernardo, the Rat.
And a lot of them play together.
Yeah, a lot of them do play together, and
is the Rat part of that team?
I think he has to play.
Yeah.
He didn't get in the team in the Euros though, did he?
No, he was in and out, wasn't he?
Again, when Ronaldo's there, he's more subsidiary, isn't he?
He's more mute, isn't he?
Yeah, I don't know if they're a better team with. I don't know if they're
by the end of the season. Who knows?
I don't know if they're a better team with or without Ronaldo. To be honest, which sounds a bit weird to say.
You got João
Felix. You got loads of good players in that team. So I think that they may be decent. I know people they're always people's dark horses, outsiders, and they always get knocked out in the 16 or the quarters. But I think that they're going to go deeper in this one. I think.
Yeah. Well, as much as we touched on, we'll prefer, might prefer Messi. I think he's the better player. Like, you can't rule out Ronald McDonald. You can't rule out Ronaldo just being there when they really need it at some point in that tournament. So yeah, it's an interesting show.
And I feel like Ronaldo is going to really, really want it. Like both him and Messi are going to really fight for it because it's their last chance. Yeah. This is literally their last chance. And Messi, Ronaldo have never scored in a World Cup after the group stages.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's mad.
That is mad.
Yeah. Fun fact again.
Because bear in mind, Ronaldo's got quite a lot of goals in the Euros as well.
Did Messi take that one down on his thigh? Was that in the group stage?
That was the last game of the group, I think. They beat Nigeria, didn't they?
To go through, that was a must win, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's mental.
Yeah.
So we'll leave it there. Hope you enjoyed this podcast. It's not quite as long as the last one. Last one was, abnormally long. They probably will be around this range. But thanks for sticking with us. It's been lovely. It's been a nice chat.
Lovely voice, yeah. Great, it's been great.
Yeah, no, thoroughly enjoyed it. I mean, I feel like we're getting into the swing of it a bit more now.
We're getting another rhythm.
We're getting a rhythm.
We've got pre-season out of us. We're starting the season.
I know. We've just been to Selhurst and we beat them 2-0, I'd say.
Yeah. We followed that up with a 3-0 win against Leicester. I reckon Leicester are poor. Yeah. We didn't even touch on them, I've just clocked. But Leicester were poor. There's nothing new there. Well done, Tony. Lovely goal. He's a good player.
Very good.
There you go. All right. In a bit, guys. See you next week.
Cheers.